NHL 26 news and info. Let's break down all of the stuff that has been going around for NHL 26 in this episode of Who Should You Choose. Thank you guys again for watching today's video. Like I said, I want to focus on NHL 26 and all the things that are going on about it, and some of the things I've been able to find just, lurking on the internet about some potential news. So the first thing that I do want to bring up is that in NHL 25, we're now able to get some packs and things and rewards in this year's game that we can use in NHL 26. Now, originally, just looking at this, I love that. It's something that MLB does really well. And the thing in the current iteration of it, it's basically 2 packs. They're calling it Jumpstart packs. I would assume these are a lot like loyalty packs, which means that you're probably not pulling anything. However, I do want to point out that in NHL 25, at the beginning of the game, silver cards went for like 6,000 coins. So I think that the landscape of just getting any card in the new economy that they have is far better than what it ever was before, where we were just overloaded with cards in NHL prior years where there was loyalty rewards. Obviously, EA removed those loyalty rewards a few years ago, which was met with massive criticism. And this is a way to at least reward the players that are still playing the product in NHL 25 to get a little bit of a jump start in NHL 26. So the one big thing is there's a Calder nominee choice pack. So that means Macklin, Celebrini, Lane Hudson, and Dustin Wolf are available at launch of NHL 26. I would assume that these packs are going to operate a lot like the early access packs, where you don't really get all of those packs and things like that until the full launch of the game, which we're going to get into. But that being said, I think that it's a positive, and I hope that, we've got a couple months still of NHL 25. I hope that it isn't just this. I hope it isn't just 2 packs, 3 in total, I guess, and that's it. I hope every event so far, or every event for the rest of the game, we just keep getting this. More objectives to complete cards and or things to get rewards. Yeah, I guess I want to address some of the comments about that, because in my video about the event that just happened, I was really excited about it, and someone brought up that it's just loyalty rewards. Why are you excited? They used to have that, and now it's worse. And I got to be honest with you, thinking back on that, yeah, I guess you're kind of right. But I don't want to do revisionist history and just be like, well, what we used to have is better, so what we have now is never going to be better. Technically, what we have today, with being able to earn some rewards by just playing the game that we were playing anyways, we at least get something. It's better than what it was on Thursday for stuff going into NHL 26, and we'll see what happens. So there's also a playtest going on. I want to help some people out that don't know about how to get into the actual playtests. And here it is. So if you go to EA.com, just search EA playtester, and the very first thing is become the future, or inspire the future of play, and hit become a playtester. This is all that was done. If you sign up for this, you'll be asked throughout the year to play test new games. And that is what all of the people that are playtesting the game currently are participating in. So if you're wondering how to do that, that's how you do it. I don't know if they're going to do a full-blown beta like what we're used to in the past. I think that it might just be all done through the playtesting site. But that being said, you want to sign up there. Definitely recommend it. I'll put a link in the description down below. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, if you did not know about a playtest, or you didn't know how to become a playtester, then there was a message by EA Aljo in the forums. Yes, the forums are still used. Players that have the same email address for their Xbox account as their EA account should now be able to redeem the code. If your emails don't match, the code will not be able to be redeemed. Something important: make sure that you go in and look at your PlayStation account and your Xbox account. This is just, it's always so annoying, and I don't know if it's just because I'm old, where it's frustrating. It's things should work. You got to make sure the email addresses match. Updating to match will not make the code work either. Again, you've got to do it before you get the code. There will be the reason why I'm showing you this. There will be another playtest in late July, so you'll have another opportunity to test the game then. And they say playtest, so I would assume that it's under this and not a full beta that we're used to in years past. Now, we also haven't got a beta. Last year, I don't believe we had one at all. So I don't know if they're going to be doing one this year either. But I know that there will at least be another playtest that you guys can take advantage of. So I just wanted to point that out. Now let's talk. So a couple months ago, I tried to find the tweet and I couldn't. EA does like their earnings call, and they go over their schedule. The reason why I want to bring that up is that in there, it had mentioned that EA NHL was in the quarter that fit all the way up until September, like including September. And the reason why I want to bring that up is because I don't think they include um, early access. I think they only include worldwide release. So if you go back to last year, it was October 4th. So obviously that would have been the final quarter or the third quarter. In for NHL 26, it was saying the one before that. So I don't know if that means the game's coming out earlier, because it has been historically the last few years being pushed back ever since COVID, the COVID delay. It has been pushed up a little bit earlier. With how early we're doing the playtest and everything like that, it really seems like they're trying to get back into that normal window. I think that that's super important, simply because, we might be getting a game in the middle of September. Early September. It used to be early September. I doubt that. The one big fear I have in that is that, they lose a month of dev time. So we'll have to wait and see. But it does appear that things are moving a little bit quicker than they were in prior years. So I wish I could find the tweet. I apologize. But yeah, we could be getting it earlier. So something to keep in mind there. Now, I did want to get into, before the comments and questions for who should you choose, I did want to get into some of the questions and comments that I found in my video going over the event that just came out. And I want to explain all of my thoughts on it, because again, you guys are my most hardcore viewers, so I thought that it'd be the best place to do it. So my video going over the event, the new draft event, right? So Dalfit says, animation skipping is the greatest ad ever, 5 stars, one of the best days ever in NHL. It's so funny because it was met with a lot of, it took this long to fix it, and that is frustrating, but I'm never going to be someone that's upset when they fix stuff that we should have had fixed before. I think you're holding on to a lot of resentment. I'm just happier that it's fixed, right? We're still going to play, if you were still going to play the game at least, right? So for anyone that didn't know, you can now skip Team of the Week packs, Team of the Week animations, icon packs. If you open up an icon choice pack, hit square, reveals them all. I hope that is in the next game. For people that want to sit through the animations, go ahead. But I hope that is in the next game. I would be stunned if it's not, because if they put dev resources to fix such a weird issue in this game, I don't see how it's not in the next game. So the next most liked comment: these jumpstart packs used to be called loyalty rewards. Not sure why they can't just bring a form of those back. I wish I could like this comment more than once, said David Dangles. I agree. Like I said earlier in this video, I kind of addressed that. This comment made me think. And I agree. And all I would say to that is I used to be so locked into, we used to have this, and now we don't, right? When it comes to the video game and video games in general. And now I just don't get angry, because it's like we don't have any control. The control is we don't buy the game. And that is what I urge people to do now. When they are, again, as I've gotten a little bit older and maybe hopefully a little bit wiser, I can tell when someone is frustrated with the game, and I can tell when someone's downloading therapy about the game, right? And to those people that are just so passionate about it and they're so upset by what's taking place in the game, just move on. Don't buy the game. You have power. Just simply don't buy it, right? Like I'm all about that, right? And the loyalty reward thing brought up an interesting debate, because like I said, if you go back to Thursday, it is now better than what it was on Thursday. Was it loyalty rewards before? No. But we used to get 10 packs, 15 packs. I gotta be honest with you, in that landscape, I'd probably take the 2 packs in NHL 26 than I would in the 15 packs that we'd get in NHL 21, because those 21 packs were silvers, and silvers had never, there was some you'd see on Reddit where someone would pull a master set item. The frequency of that was so few and far between. So I am with you that we used to have loyalty rewards. We get a lot of packs, and that'd be sweet. 100% that's better. But what we have now about the draft event and getting those packs, better than what we had. And I think not so much about NHL 26. It's rewarding the people that are still playing 25. Because one of the biggest issues with Ultimate Team mode games is that you're playing 25 or you're playing whatever game, and you get to the end of the cycle and it's like, why am I still playing this? Because I'm going to reset everything soon, right? I'm just going to reset everything. And I think that that's that having working towards the next game is something that all sports games companies should definitely do. The other one that I saw quite a bit is the MSP choice. So players upset with like not caring about the players, because I said that this is one of the best events that we've had. And again, I want to explain that because it might not be noticeable. James Hagens being in this event is pretty game changing. And let me explain why. So in the past, okay, in the past, if a player plays in NCAA, we don't the NHL or the video game EA does not have rights to them. They are not in the NHLPA. They are not signed into the NHLPA until they play their very first game in the National Hockey League. EA has no power over that. That is the NHL and the NHLPA, them dictating that term. Okay. So when you have the World Junior event, the U.S. selections are always awful because the only players that they can pick from are people in the players in the OHL. Because in the OHL, they have rights to use their likeness, right? So that's why in the World Junior event, the U.S. is always pretty underwhelming because the U.S. hates taking players that are not in the U.S. development program or basically playing in leagues outside of the U.S. And I don't blame them in the collegiate route. There's a lot of OHLers, American born NHL or OHLers that do not get picked, and but that's fine. That is what it is, right? So the reason why this is huge is it's not because they have rights to um, players that are now drafted and things like that. The fact that James Hagens is an MSP, because sorry, last thing on that, they didn't have headshots either. So when you get the cards that don't have headshots and a blank headshot, and that's just so ugly and boring. Usually, what they do is for players that didn't get headshots from the NHL teams at like training camp and stuff like that, EA has to make them master set items, and then they can get around card art. That's what they used to. That's how they got around the issue with Kirill Kaprizov years ago. My man Nicholas, again no longer with NHL, he came up with the idea to use a master set art. And if anyone remembers, Kirill Kaprizov didn't have a card in 23 or 22, and we got the Summer HL event, and they made him a master set art. That was a way to get around the no headshot. Again, sorry, circling back. The reason why James Hagens is so important is because they clearly reached out to him and did using his an NIL agreement, a name, image, likeness, like they do in college football. Because James Hagens is not drafted. They could not go to a drafted team. There's no agreement at all. He is simply a collegiate athlete that is now in NHL, which gives me a lot of hope because that means that maybe they are working something out with like what they did with college football. If anyone didn't follow the story, in college football, how they got the rights of all the players was they basically offered everyone $500. I might be wrong on that. There might be obviously some like players that are far different, but that was basically what they did for every player that was in Division One. So I'm thinking that they went to James Hagens and is like, "Hey, we would like to use your name, image, and likeness, X amount." If that's the case, that's a massive win for not just Hut but franchise players as well. Because one of the biggest issues, remember the COVID draft or the Owen Power draft, where it was basically the top of the draft was all U.S. born players because they were the only ones playing during the pandemic. And that year's game, they couldn't use any of the rookies or anything. Like the rosters, the Hut, none of it. It was just, it's a very glaring problem when there's high profile rookies and young players that are American born that can't be in the game. Right. And it looks like they're finding a way around that with actual individual agreements, maybe, which is why I said that this was so big for the game. Not so much just, like that the event and the cards are amazing, but the fact that we've got stuff to work towards NHL 26, and then James Hagens is bigger. Again, I'm a nerd. I'm thinking like way down the line and way into other things of the game and not just like the individual card. But I wanted to point that out because a lot of people were confused about why I said that this was like the greatest event, because the Master Set cards are kind of okay, but nothing, nothing great. But let's get into a few questions for Who Should You Choose. I do apologize, kind of went on a long rant there. I feel like one thing they could do next year to avoid people deranking to get wins quicker, it could be a win objective system where in Div 1, you only need to get like 10 wins to get the highest reward. Div 2 is 15, Div 3, maybe 18, and so on. If you derank in the middle of the week and you haven't finished all of your wins, your max wins needs to change to the new division. So if you're in Div 1 and you have 8 wins out of 10 so far, but lose a lot and drop to Div 2, You now need 15 wins, not 10. They probably couldn't figure this out. They probably couldn't figure this out, but that'd be cool. Issue with that, man, is that you are now making it far more difficult and far more time intensive for the lesser skilled players. So if you're in Division 3 and now you got to get 20 wins, Division 3 doesn't mean that all games are easier. It means that for Division 3 players, they are going to go 500, meaning win one, lose one, when they're playing other players that are in Division 3. This system would only work to hinder Division 1 players, but it would make the experience far worse for everyone else. I like where your head's at. I think it should be something. It almost. I'm trying to think of a way around it, but it should be your reward should be based on your highest rank in Rivals. So if you've been to Division 1 Rivals, right? You got to win a Division 1 rival game. However, then I think what happens about people that lose and they can't get back into Division 1. I don't know. I don't know what to do there, but I think there's something to be said about the highest division that they're in, that being where the rewards come from. MLB did this with their weekend classic, where throughout the month you play rivals, and the highest rank that you get to, that's the rank that you're playing in weekend classic, in hut champs, essentially, right? And the rewards scale. So the higher you did in rivals, the way higher rewards you can earn in weekend classic, but that the level of players is also big. They need to bring back create a play. I remember it being fun back in NHL 14. My dude, first of all, I would love that. But I also know that it would completely brick the game. We are now in an era, we've been in the information era for a long time. But we are in the YouTube and content era where video games are figured out like that immediately. And in fact, the first thing that you do when you get a new video game is you go and learn the ins and outs and try and become a master of it, because you want the path of least resistance, which is normal. Humans want that. In NHL 14, YouTube and NHL was not where it is now. You did not have the same level of openness. You couldn't go and search and find the best plays. You would find a couple, but there was not a lot of YouTubers back then. Shout out Bacon Country and the Goats. But that being said, if they brought it back now, my dude, good Lord, everyone, you're talking about the best players in the world, they would figure something out, but they stream, other people know, they're known in the community, it would get figured out, then you're playing the same play over and over again. And what's worse is that if we could create a play, that means we get to manipulate exactly how everything goes. It would get to a point where EA couldn't even patch it if they wanted to. Not that they would seem to patch it anyways, but that's a dangerous thing. Like, I legit think this could be one of the worst things for online play if you brought back creative play. Sick idea. It should be fun, but you're setting up for the worst gaming experience possible. Finally, no more long animation and when opening Team of the Week packs. Took them long enough. I can't believe I'm still playing this game. Shake my head. Hey, brother, we're all addicted. All right, we're all addicted. Nothing wrong with that. When it comes to the animations and stuff, like I said, it's probably done. I don't see them taking that feature out. There's still so many quality of life things I hope that they do fix. I want to see, auto select being back again. The multi-select, account bound players. God, rework account bound so that it's only via trade-ins. Like, account bound player items should only be able to be used, I guess, when EA gives a card to a really good one. I don't know. It's when you trade in something that's so expensive and getting one back. Anytime that we trade in 2 master set level players for one higher, we should be getting one back. It's an absolute mess. So we need better menus, better and way smoother. Sorry, we need better and way smoother menus. Hut needs a complete overhaul in basically every aspect in terms of customization, modes, progressions, quality of life, and especially live content. They need to get rid of the stupid chore mindset. I'd rather play the game the whole day against Division 1 and 2 players than doing these boring objectives. Same goes for moments. They need to find a way to make offline grind more fun. I want to stop you there on that one. I appreciate the long comment. With you on that. Like, I think that the quality of life needs a big workover. We need to sit down and be like, hey, where are the pain points in this game? Opening packs was one, which was hilarious. They've addressed that a little bit with the animations being gone. But I agree with you completely. The chore mindset is rough. Until they fix it, until you can earn XP. So getting 50 hits with event items shouldn't be 50 hits with event items anymore. It should just be get hits or get XP with event items. And it doesn't matter how you earn it, that's how you get it, right? Like that's how you'd fix it. And if you play online, you're getting a massive bump in terms of like the multiplier for it. So that's going to do it for this episode of Who Should You Choose? A little bit of NHL 26 news. We'll be back tomorrow with all your questions, and I'll see you guys then. Have a good one.